Okay, this is my first game jam ever. Little experience, no team, it's just me and the theme called isolation. By the third day, I would question everything I thought I knew about game development. Day 1. This is my first ever game jam, and I'm feeling a bit nervous. The theme is isolation. It is open to interpretation, but the core ideas are about feeling lonely. My game idea is about feeling alone and isolated in a crowded office. I start with what I think is super helpful or probably even essential for every indie game developer. I create a game design document. My goal for the first day is quite simple. I want to build a working concept with some core mechanics and ignore pretty much everything else. I go to GameMaker and I start sketching my office environment. I create walls, corners, doors and tables using 16 by 16 grid. Then I build the layout: 3 meeting rooms, dining area and some desks. Next comes my player. I create a sprite and add some basic movement control. Then I add a Soul Eater, a red enemy that patrols the room, following a path. Soul Eaters are slightly faster than the player, so you have to be careful. By the end of the first day, I have a playable prototype. It is ugly, but there is a game loop and there is a small office map. And there is a moving player and there are some enemies. I start day 2 by updating my game design document. The player follows a schedule, avoids Soul Eaters and may need to answer some questions. If they answer wrong, they would freeze for a few seconds and be vulnerable. I build the interface, a soul meter, kind of a health bar, and a working clock showing the time in the game. The soul meter drops whenever you touch a Soul Eater, and there will be some debug text showing your soul level. I create a multiple Soul Eaters and I create a path for them, so the room could feel crowded and dangerous. I add sound effects and I create collectible work items. They will spawn randomly and you will need to collect them. Finally, I add win and lose conditions. If your soul drops to 0, you lose. If you survive until 5 p.m., you win. By the end of the second day, I have a playable prototype with all the main elements. Maybe, just maybe, I will be able to complete a nice game. Day 3. On the day 3, I realized my game was turning into weird Pac-Man, and I definitely didn't want this to happen. So I had to make a tough decision: scrap half of the game and start rebuilding. I clean everything up, I delete old path layers, I reorganize the project, and I create a bigger room. Then I download this free Pixel Office asset pack, and I rebuild the whole office using workstation, sofas and computer sprite. The main feature of this day was a grid-based movement. I created a new base object with 24 pixel grid size, and I added a cooldown and smooth surfing, so my player and my enemies move from tile to tile and they don't stop whenever they want. It took me some time, but I'm actually happy with the result. At this point, I realized that this game was harder than I thought. The scope was changing several times, and I'm starting to worry about the time. Day 4. And this day was a roller coaster. I was feeling good about the improved movement, but when I tested my game, it just felt wrong. My grid-based movement was great, but the level layout was horrible. And with so many open space, the game just felt unplayable. So I had to redesign the map, make it tighter, more structured, and I added a small safe area shaped like a smiley face. I also spent some time improving visuals. I made collectible items animated, and I added a proper animation for the player. After testing everything together, It looked more or less okay. But I felt the pressure. There was just a couple of days left, and I still was finding problems to solve. Can I actually submit something by the deadline? Day 5. By the end of this day, I need to have something which is actually good enough for submitting. I can't leave anything but just some polish until the last day. I created a proper work item controller. Now everything ran through this central object, which was much cleaner, but it also took lots of time to get it right. Then I worked on the game over system. When you lose all your soul, your game would pause and show a proper overlay with the replay button. By the end of the day, I had a full gameplay loops. You can lose, you can restart, you can collect work items, and you can get a visual feedback if things go bad. I was feeling exhausted. Just one day left, and I was starting to panic. Final day, less than 9 hours before the submission. All I want to do today is polish, finish the story, and submit the game. First, I fix the spawn system, so enemies only appear where they should, but then I realized I don't want this to be just a maze chasing. There must be a story. So I started brainstorming. The story I came up with was about reliving the same day over and over. Each time it's getting worse. The game starts with a quote: "Have you ever been surrounded by people but feeling lonely?" And this leads to the first level, which has no enemies, just some work to do. The next level introduces the Soul Eaters, and it starts with another quote: "It's like other people are eating parts of your soul." Finally, the third level. You can't beat it. It is designed that you will always fail. It's designed to make you feel hopeless, isolated, and frustrated. Just 30 minutes left, and I uploaded to itch.io. So, here what I learned. This game jam was draining, but also very enjoyable experience. And I have another game made. Of course, this game is not perfect. It's probably a bad game. But every not perfect and bad game will help me to make a better game in the future. By the way, if you want to know how you can make more games even with super busy life, check out this video. In this video I explain a simple approach for creating more games with a tight schedule. It was Test Encoder Games. See you around, my dudes!